Well, hello everybody. We are back. We apologize for, God, it's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, as everyone knows that lives up here this time of year, it's you have to take full advantage of the weather and the things that are going on. And so I was gone last week when we were supposed to do it. And here's the thing. So everyone can chime in on the comments. By the way, thank you. Hey, Maria, and everybody, Raspberry Jelly Donut. That is a good name. Um, and Stacker Dude, everybody that's here already. I would like you all to chime in because last week I told Hillary I knew I was going to be gone, and I told her that she should take over the live and just do it on her own, and she absolutely refused and would have none of it. And I think she would do just fine, and I'm sure everybody would probably like to hear her ramble way more than they'd like to hear me ramble. So
No. And you know what else, Will? There have been times when I've been out of town and you haven't done it alone either. So
see, I
I
don't
don't know
remember
why
that.
I'm getting thrown under the bus for
I don't
this.
think that is a true story. I don't recall anything like that.
It's the truth.
So
Uh,
anyway, those of you out there listening, if you'd like to see Hillary do it solo one of these weeks, please let her know to give her a little confidence because she's scared that nobody would talk and she would know what to say.
I am very scared. And I'm also sitting in a new room tonight. So hopefully that helps with the sound. With my luck, it probably will not. But some of you have sent in some good tips. So thank you for that. I'm working on it, I promise. But in the meantime, hopefully this gives us a little bit of an improvement. We'll see.
She just needs a real microphone, and one of
I
these
do.
days we'll
Yeah.
we'll pitch in and get her one. Christmas is right around the corner.
uh, ooh,
Oh,
second says the sound is better. Yay.
there you go. Anyway, some of the things we have been doing because the weather's been so nice and it is that time of year is, well, the good news is that the fire we had nearby, um, they kind of got a handle on it. And it was kind of wild. If you look at the map, it was moving north pretty quickly, but the main part of the fire, uh, like ran straight into Lake Mary Ronan, and there's nothing better than a lake to block a fire. So that's
I,
kind of what happened. So it has not been smoky this summer, which is awesome. Um, and so we've been able to get up to the park and do some good hikes. So Hillary's fiance did one that she will tell us about now. And it also comes with a warning that the road, the Going the Sun Road, is not open 24 hours a day.
it's
So
not. This summer it is closing, and I can't even remember the exact time that it reopens, but it closes at 10 p.m. because they're doing construction. And so we have always been late start hikers. We're not, I mean, we have gone out there super early if we need to get there early to finish a hike. But for the most part, we'll roll in kind of when we want to. We're not in a rush, and we don't really mind what time we get done as long as we're done before the sun sets. But yeah, Keenan went out and did a hike. They were planning to do a different hike, but I think that it was closed because of bear activity. So they switched it up at the last minute and tried something else. And they ended up missing the closure time by like 10 minutes. So at 10:10, they almost made it. They were directed to Lake McDonald Lodge and had to stay there until they let all of the stragglers sort of flush out at midnight. But they didn't end up getting out of the park until 12:20. And of course, there's not really service in the park. So he said there were a lot of people calling their or trying to ask the front desk to use the phone to call their families to let them know I'm just stuck in the park. I'm alive and I will be home later. And he said that there wasn't, the water fountain was broken, so there wasn't any water. All the restaurants are closed at that point. So they were like starving after doing this long hike. And they just kind of had to post up and wait it out. So just a friendly reminder that if you're going to the park and you need to get out, make sure it happens before 10. Otherwise, you'll get stuck there for a few hours.
And just what you didn't say, the road, well, you didn't know the road doesn't open again until 6.
Yeah, they do let people out, though.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But yeah, I mean, they're not in a hurry to get people out. It's sort of like when they can, they will. So yeah, they ended up leaving at about 12:20. But when you're not planning on doing that, it's just kind of a pain. But other than that, the hike was great. Will said it. We haven't had any smoke this summer, which is like amazing. So
yeah, even when that fire was burning down in Lakeside, it didn't, because of the way the wind was blowing, it was blowing it straight east, so it never came north up here. So it was, knock on wood, we're not out of the woods yet. It's still hot and dry, but it's been a great summer so far. And that brings us to what we did last week. And by the way, let me put it up. If you guys want to start putting up your questions while we ramble, we will start answering those in a little bit. But yeah, we went up to Mini Glacier, which is on the east side of the park. Frederick is on here. I did a video with Frederick. He works for the state of Montana for the business department, helping new businesses here. So, hey, thanks for joining in, Frederick, and we'll have to have you on again. And I know you're building a new place up here, so if you're ever in our area, stop in and see us. But yeah, we were up at Mini Glacier, which is awesome. It's my favorite part of the park. You can't even believe you're in this country. It's just so awesome. I mean, it's just incredible. And that is a little a little preview for my video tomorrow is all about Mini Glacier, and it shows, the area. And we got to see, well, my wife. So I'm not a big fan of heights. I don't know if I've ever said that before. So a lot of the hikes in Glacier are just like ridiculously narrow trails on top of a 10,000 foot drop off. And I cannot do that. The older I get, the worse I get. Well, I tried to load that video I showed you that Angie took, but it wouldn't work on here. So anyway, you'll have to wait till tomorrow at 1 o'clock and you can watch this video clip I'm talking about. But it's called you can Google it too. That's how I realized I was not going to do this hike, because I've learned now, because everyone's like, oh, Will, it's not that bad. And so I Google these hikes to make sure, because a lot of times they'll lie to me just to get me to go. But this particular hike, I dropped my wife and our friends off at the Loop, and then they went up to Granite Park Chalet and then over Swift Current Pass. And then right when you come over that pass, you start going down into the Mini Glacier Valley. Well, there's a part called the Devil's Elbow, which is just, I mean, I don't know how people hike on that. It's I can't. There's no way I could do that. But yeah, so she took a video, and of course, my wife has no problem with heights, so she's walking right on the edge, holding her phone over the edge, and making little noises like trying to be funny. But yeah, that one's pretty bad. So if you don't like heights, I would highly suggest you skip that one.
Not doing
it. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, we saw bull moose, which was cool. We saw a bear, but we're pretty sure it was a black bear, even though it was one of those cinnamon ones. When we were leaving that day, right down by that Sherburne Lake when you're coming out. We did see a grizzly way up, when we were sitting on the deck one night, way up on the hill, but it was so far away that, we didn't think it counted as seeing it. So, yeah. I was just looking at the comments here. So yeah, if you guys have questions, go ahead and fire away, and we'll start going through them.
Fire away.
Stacker
Dude has a question. I'll put it up. with all the growth, what's the crime like in Kalispell? Worse, same, better?
Well, Hillary's fiance again is the public defender for Flathead County, so she would probably have a better answer for this than I
Not
would.
the. I'm not
Well,
sure. I don't know. I was gonna see if you knew the answer to this. I haven't heard that it's gotten significantly worse. I haven't heard it's gotten any better. But yeah, I'm not sure. I would say there hasn't been a substantial change, but I don't know really. I'm not in Kalispell also, so
so I guess the answer is it stayed the same.
I mean, I would guess. Have you heard anything different, Will?
No, I mean, no. I just saw something in the paper today about some crime down there, but again, that it's not like there's never crime down there.
Right.
Um, I don't. Yeah, it's probably if you look at the numbers, it's just because of the population growth. I'm sure it probably has gone up a little, but again, it's nothing that bad. So,
Yeah.
all right, here's a. Are you going to put the next one up, Lola?
Yes. Can you please explain how under contract with the bump clause works?
Did you want me to do that?
Mm-hmm.
See, this is why she doesn't want to do this alone.
I like Will.
Um, so under contract with a bump clause means so if let's say Hillary's selling her house, and I make an offer, and I'm moving from Minnesota, and I tell her I will give you whatever $500,000 for your house, but it depends on or it's contingent on me selling my house in Minnesota. So basically, what I'm asking her to do is take her house off the market and tie it up while you wait for me to sell my house. The bump clause is to protect her because if another offer comes in, then what the bump clause is she has to give me 72 hours to perform or to get rid of that contingency that I have to sell my house. And whether or not I can do that, who knows? But if I can't, or I, choose not to, then she can move on to the next offer. So that is what the bump clause is. It's to protect the seller, um, so she can, hopefully get it to sell. But if something better comes along, she can bump me out of the way. So I hope that answers your question.
I think that was a perfect explanation, and I'm so happy you answered it.
Well, the next time we get that, you can answer it.
Mark asks, does it usually snow the first week or two in November? I'll be looking for homes then. See you then, Will. No, it does not usually snow the first week or two in November.
But it can.
It can, but
I
it doesn't.
I told somebody the other day, once you get past October 15th, all bets are off. It can do anything. Up until that point, we're 99%. It'll be fine. It'll be great weather usually. But a few years ago, we had this cold snap, like the third week of October, that was probably the coldest part of the whole winter. Were you guys here for that?
I don't remember.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you again, Mark, when you get out here. But we should be fine. But like I said, who knows? There could be snow, or it could be like it is today. It's up in the air.
My husband and I, our favorite happy place is Many Glacier. We haven't been able to get a cabin in 3 years. We live in Helena. How do you get in?
Well, my wife is the expert on getting cancellations, and we've actually gotten in every single year because she will sit on that website every time she has a break. She'll pull it up and see if there's any cancellations, and she jumps on them. So she's on that site 3 times a day, for
She's
about,
got it down to a science.
yeah, we've gotten rooms there over 4th of July weekend for about 7 years in a row. And it's all because and that's the only way you can do it, because I've heard that there's like a 2-year waiting list, or, 2-year wait to
Yes.
get a room.
Yeah.
So yeah, she is the queen of getting us rooms there. And so you just have to get on the site and keep refreshing it and kind of
I have
dedicate
never,
your life.
yeah, dedicate your life. I've never gotten a room there, but we camped there this year, and I told you guys about that earlier. We went in June, and that's when we also saw our bears and our moose. So if you can get a camping site, it's worth
But I
doing that.
don't, I wonder how hard it is to get a campsite this time of year.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then the other thing with that particular campground, there's tons and tons of bears over there on that side of the park. So that campground a lot of times will be closed down to like tents. You have to have a hard-sided camper because of the amount of bears, and most people don't want to get plucked out of their tent in the middle of the night by a bear, so they require campers. So that's another thing to keep in mind over on that side.
We just sleep in my car. It works great.
Please donate to the Hillary Fund. She's living in her car.
Well, we don't have any more questions, but Raspberry Jelly Donut is building a sandwich, which sounds very good. So I hope you enjoy that.
I like the Krispy Kreme logo on his icon there.
We have a Krispy Kreme in Kalispell.
Yes, we do.
Um,
So let's talk a little about. So we had some people in town the other day that we went and showed some property to, and ran into a couple of things that might be interesting or informative for people looking for property. One of the things we ran into is, and I think we've discussed this before, a lot of people will be like, oh, there's a 20-acre lot. Well, when we got up to this particular lot, it was only 10 acres, but there was probably less than a half acre that was buildable. So you have to be careful when you see prices or see acreage of that size that, you're getting actually 20 acres you can use. I mean, I guess even if it is unusable, you're keeping your neighbors at a distance, but you just, you have to be aware of the property and make sure you check it out, or have us go check it out for you. And Hillary also got a lesson in the type of footwear to use while you're walking around these lots.
yeah, I did. I always wear the wrong shoes, and then we end up going on these like major treks up and down mountainsides, and I'm falling all over the place. Okay, questions are rolling in. Rocky Mountain Guy, are you seeing price drops yet on homes? In Colorado, it's happening a lot this month. Yes, we are seeing price drops, and if the prices aren't coming down, we're seeing them sit on the market. But yes, I would say we're seeing prices come down.
Well, yeah, we are seeing drops, but it's mainly from the people that were trying to win the lottery, and way overpriced their house because they think it's still last year.
Yeah.
But the price drops, the houses, like in the meeting this morning, another agent in our office was talking about, she had a house that she got multiple offers on because they priced it right. So yes, we're seeing price drops, but it's not like the whole, place is going down hugely, if that makes any sense.
I would say it does. How are you? Says I'm missing out on the 105 degrees in the Midwest. My mom is actually in town right now. She still lives in Omaha, and she is like in heaven and amazed at how beautiful the weather is here and acts like it feels like air conditioning. And it's so funny because I've been thinking it's like so hot. So yeah, I'm not sad to be missing out on that. Josh, I don't know the answer to this because I've never been, but Will might. Is the rodeo on the 19th in Kalispell worth it?
I don't know if that is that already the county fair rodeo. Do you know when the fair is, or is that later in the month? Because there's a place
I'm
in
not
between Whitefish and Kalispell called the Majestic Valley Arena that has a lot of rodeos. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about, or if you're talking about the one at the fair. I've been to both, um, and they're fun. I don't know. I'm not a huge rodeo guy. I mean, so I'm not. I didn't know who was in it or whatever. It was fun. I enjoyed it, but as far as like pro rodeos go, I don't know. You'll have to do some more research on that.
Yeah, the only one that I've been to is the one at the Blue Moon in Sioux Falls, and it's always a great time, but I don't
Yeah.
know. The Great Bear Inn, is this open during November, December, or closed due to weather?
Um, I'm not. Do you know which one that is? Great Bear Inn. Let me look
I'm
it
trying
up.
to figure it out.
Well, I'm thinking that's that one up near Essex.
It's on Blankenship.
Oh, um,
I don't know.
let's see if it says. I'm guessing that they're closed in the winter. Um, I don't know. You have to give them a call. It doesn't say, but I think where that one is, they don't get a lot of people out that direction. I don't want to say I want to cost them any business, but um, yeah, this isn't saying.
It might depend too. Like
Yeah,
sometimes people will stay open depending on how long it stays nice. I just don't know. I would call them.
yeah, and some places are open at Christmas time, but I
Mhm.
don't know that particular one. So,
What is the best location for close to big box store shopping yet elbow room distance from neighbors? We are kind of, if you're in the Flathead Valley, anywhere almost, you're within about 30 minutes of Kalispell, which is where the Home Depot and Target and all that sort of thing is. Um, I think that the great thing about this valley is that you don't have to travel very far to feel like you're in the middle of nowhere and you're still very close to places. I mean, even in Whitefish, I think about from my neighborhood, um, like when I go out towards Haskell Farm, it feels like you're like in the country. It's just, you don't have to drive very far to feel like you're far away. So I would say there are a lot of places like that in the valley. As long as you're in the valley, you're pretty much 30 minutes, give or take, from Kalispell. So I'm not sure if that's helpful or not, but when people come in town, we always suggest that they drive around and we'll kind of show them a loop to make so that they can get an idea of where everything is and then sort of pick an area that they like to focus in on because you've got a lot of options. You definitely don't have to be in one spot if you want to get that feeling.
yeah. Yeah, West Valley in Kalispell, the east side of the valley. I mean, there's a lot of open area still around here. But like Hillary said, all the box stores and everything are located in Kalispell. So what I tell everybody is if you're basically Kalispell's the hub of this valley, it's the center
Mm-hmm.
of the valley. I mean, maybe not geographically exactly, but um, you're anywhere you are in this valley, you're about 20 minutes from Kalispell.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, you're a
And
little further out.
skipped this one. I'm sorry. For lakefront property on Flathead Lake, how long can the dock be? Wondering how far into the lake you can build a dock to get into deeper water.
I saw that one come up, and I do not know the answer to that. I know there is a limit on how far out you can go. And the thing about Flathead Lake, isn't that what they asked? Yeah, Flathead Lake. In the springtime, that lake is really low. They lower it in the fall in order to catch all the runoff in the spring, and they don't have to be up. It's controlled by the dam that's down south of Polson, and they don't have to be at full pool until June 15th ish. Again, I'd have to look that up, but I don't care if your dock's very long. It that time of year, it's not you're not going to get your boat to it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as far as how long it can be, I don't know.
When does Glacier Park close for the year?
It never closes. The Going to the Sun Road closes. But you can go in there and, huh?
I was just gonna say, I think Going to the Sun Road closes like late September.
Yeah, they're closing earlier this year to try and finish up that construction project. But usually when it closes due to snow, it's usually about the middle of October when they get too much snow up at the top and they just quit. They don't plow it and they just let it go until spring. But yeah, you can go in the park year round and cross country ski and whatever you want to do. There's not much open at Apgar. I don't know if anything's open in the little village there.
I don't think so.
And they do plow the road all the way to Lake McDonald Lodge.
Yep.
But I don't think the lodge is open. So I'm not sure why they stopped there other than that there's a gate right there. And then from there on you can cross country ski up the road, or there's trails along the river on the other side of the river that I've skied on. Yeah, it's pretty cool to go up there. What's that?
Snowshoe. We've done that.
Yeah, it's very quiet that time of
Yes,
year up there.
it is. Yes, it is. When does tourism season end? I would say we have 2 seasons, one being summer, obviously, and then it usually gets a little bit quieter. So, I mean, we don't really have off seasons. We just kind of have these little shoulder seasons, and it's just before the snow comes and then before, like during the spring, before summer hits in full swing. But it seems like lately it's been staying busier all the time, kind of. But
Yeah, we just have a lot more people up here now, but the I would say by the end of or by the mid to end of September it quiets down quite a bit. And to be honest with you, that's probably the best time of year is the end of September here because it's just perfect weather and cool and sunny and it's perfect, and there's no fire danger anymore at that time, and so that all of us locals love the fall here because it's everybody leaves and we get the state back and can do whatever you want. So
what jobs are available in the area? I would say that there are a lot of seasonal type jobs. It's been really interesting to see with the influx of new people coming in, and just with COVID, there are so many people working remotely. And so I think that's helped a lot of people out because we don't have a ton of job opportunities here. I mean, it's a lot of like service industry and then seasonal type stuff.
that is correct.
Are there any concerns with flooding in Columbia Falls?
Yeah, in some parts. There was this year when we had so much rain in the spring. There's some areas, some low areas down by the river that, yeah, it wasn't anything like the Yellowstone floods, but there was definitely some water in people's yards. And, that area when you go past you're on Highway 40 and then um, past the town pump there, that field out there, that was full of water.
Yeah.
And then there's other areas down south of there. Um, but the actual town itself, like the downtown area, it would have to be pretty bad for that to get flooded because it's up quite a bit higher than where the river is. So it just depends. In Columbia Falls, I guess, is the answer. Where in Columbia Falls?
Can you rate or compare the Kalispell Whitefish area to Helena? Mountain peaks, views, political climate, shopping, etc. I have not spent any time in Helena, so I cannot.
I can. Helena it's a pretty town. The mountains aren't. You're almost breaking out on the east side. I kind of call Helena the transition zone. There's mountains, but the further east you go from there, it kind of gets more wide open. Um, and it's a little colder over there because of where it sits than it is right up here. Um, Political climate, uh, that's our state capital, so there's a lot of government jobs, but I think their political or their politics are pretty much the same as the rest of the state. I don't think they're far to either side. What else? Shopping. You're probably asking the wrong guy. I mean, they have some of the bigger stores there, um, but yeah, I don't. I'm not a big shopper,
Okay.
so there you go.
There you go. Are there any cannabis dispensaries in the Flathead area yet? Yes, I feel like there are a ton already. Seems
Yeah,
like
I'll
I'm.
let Hillary expand on this one.
I mean, I just feel like I drive by them all the time. There's one that is at like a local farm in Whitefish, and that's not all it is, but they have a cannabis counter in the back of it. But Will and I have gone. They have like food trucks and live music every Wednesday. So it's sort of, it's like a family activity. It's not like a weed fest, even though that's what we call it. But then I also see them, I feel like, driving all the time. I've seen them, yes. So they're definitely around. I know that city council approved downtown to get kind of a significant number of them down there. I can't remember the exact. I think it might be 8, but it might be 7. I don't know. But I remember the number was up there. There aren't any downtown at this point, but yes, they're around.
Apparently, that's good news for this guy that asked the question. He said he's going to move up here tomorrow.
There you go. Yeah, I just see signs for them all the time.
The thing about all the weed stores is that they've approved so many and so many people are opening them. It's just going to, it's going to be capitalism. And I bet you in another year, there'll be half the amount because there's no way they can all, everybody figured if they got a license, they're going to, they'll be retired in a year. But
yeah,
maybe if there was only one, that would have been the case. But there's so many that they have proved and that are out there. Kind of like Hillary said, you drive around and you're like, oh, there's another one. And
oh, there's one. Even when we drove out to stay at our fire lookout in Connor, so we drove through Hamilton and Darby, like getting far away from just the valley. But we saw tons of signs out there too. So yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see like what those people have to pay, or if anybody can just say, oh, I'm going to go get a license and open one. I know obviously there's some rules, but yeah, there's just no way that our valley is going to support the amount of stores. And so I see somebody chimed in there. A lot of them are closing in Colorado. I'm sure that's going to happen here because I know one of the rules is you're not allowed to advertise. I mean, you can't have a YouTube channel or you can't put it in the paper or on TV or I don't know. So it's all got to be word of mouth, and that's going to wipe out half of them right there, I'm guessing.
Interesting.
So yeah,
Um,
it's a little annoying at the moment that there's so many, but yeah, I'm sure half will be gone in a year.
trickle off. How is the fishing in Montana in the fall and winters? Ice fishing a thing? Yes.
Yeah, ice fishing, what's funny is right down in our valley, like Flathead Lake, I don't remember, as long as I've lived here, I don't know if it's ever totally frozen all the way over. So I don't think many people ice fish out there. You can go in the bays. Um, but you go up to Marion, there's a lake called Little Bitterroot Lake up there, and a lot of people ice fish up there. Um, the fishing this time of year is great. Uh, the fly fishing is better down south near Hamilton or over towards Bozeman. I mean, people do fly fish here, but it's not as big of a thing as it is in those other parts of the state along some of those rivers. Um, so yeah, that's what I know. Like Flathead Lake, I know it's big for lake trout, um, and that's what most people fish for there. So that's my fishing update.
Yeah. I'm not a big fisherman, but I know it's popular.
There you go. I really enjoy Montana. The scenery is awesome. I try to get over there every year. I've become a fan of the show Yellowstone. If you didn't know, Hillary is going to be on Yellowstone this fall. She was front and center in a bunch of scenes, so you can look out for her, and she will be very famous come November 13th.
Will was there too. Oh
There's
yeah,
another
Joe's
one.
waiting for us. Yeah, we might
Right.
be hard to spot, but keep your eyes open.
Yeah, you may have to look hard. It's
Yeah,
funny. I was telling
you may
somebody
have to pause it.
pause it. We'll have to circle it, highlight it, see if you look really close.
Yeah, zoom in.
Um, the thing about it, what I found interesting, that was my first, Hollywood gig. Um, God, they shoot every scene about 50 times. So when people ask if we're going to be on or not, I mean, we might be on a whole bunch or we might be on none because every scene they film so many times, they'll shoot it and then they'll move the cameras and then they'll shoot it again, move the cameras, and so you don't,
And then they may
people
completely cut the scene and not use any of it. So you just have no idea.
exactly. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can see either one of us because there were a lot of people there for the scenes that we did. So, but it was fun. I would do it again.
Have you done any videos on Lake Koocanusa?
Yeah, ish. I did one on Eureka, and I think I showed a little bit of Lake Koocanusa, but I did not do a video strictly on Lake Koocanusa. This is a question for you, Hillary. I have never been. You know how we drove by at that one tour we did, but there's that bridge that goes across. They call it the West Kootenai area, which is on the other side of Lake Koocanusa, and it's basically in between Lake Koocanusa and the Canadian border. And there's some Amish communities up there, and I've never been up there. I've never had a reason to go up there, but it might be cool to go up there sometime and do a video. Have you ever been up there?
Thank you for the idea. I don't know if I have or not. I think I might have I don't think so. I don't know. Let me report back. I'm wondering if I went there like right when I moved here and I had no idea where I was, but I'm not sure. Are there many casinos in Montana? Yes, there are. I feel like they're everywhere, all
But
over.
they're not like Vegas casinos. They don't have like in the bars or in well,
Like
the town.
attached to every gas station.
Yeah, the town pump, that's how they make all their money is on those casinos that are attached to them, but they're not they're not Vegas type casinos. They have a bunch of like video poker, video blackjack. Um, and then in the bars they'll have live poker tables, but like one table. So
Hmm.
you can't, it's not like they have craps or blackjack or um, it's nothing like Vegas. Let's just put it that way. So
Which I'm sure you weren't expecting in Montana, but you never know.
you know,
How is the camping along Highway 83, the smaller lakes?
it's great. There's all kinds of little lakes around there. I have some friends that went up there. I forget the lake they went to. There's, like I said, there's a bunch of them. Um, last summer, and they thought they said it was awesome. I have not. I've camped at Holland Lake, which is a little bit bigger, and there's a resort on that lake. But I haven't camped at any of the smaller ones. But if it's anything like Holland Lake, it's awesome. That's a beautiful. The Swan Valley is great. So I have no bad words for that part of the state. In fact, I don't know if Maria's still on here, but they just bought a place up there last fall, and they are enjoying it immensely. I should say down there. I always say up there.
How is the situation with farming in Montana? Are the crops doing good?
I have not heard that they're doing bad. Everything looks good in our part of the valley. So, yeah, I
I
haven't.
think we signed up for a farm share this year. So we pay a certain amount, and then every week we get, to pick up fresh produce. Um, and I know that sort of at the beginning of the summer, they had some damage just from the hail. We had a lot of hail storms, it seemed like, but that's the only thing that I've heard of. I'm not a farmer, so
Even though you're from Nebraska, you couldn't
gotta do it
claim
now.
claim to be a farmer.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, do you think you could do a video sometime regarding what buyers need to be sure of before signing on the dotted line? What protections are there for buyers regarding disclosures, water rights, etc.?
Well, Tom, yes, but yeah, I kind of touch on these things on all of my videos, just kind of warning people or telling people what to look out for. Um, specifically with your question, I guess I would say that you are protected if you have a good agent like Hillary working for you. There's a there's a what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Sure.
the inspection contingency. That's what I'm looking for. So there's a date in there that will give you a few weeks to do your due diligence, and it also gives you the right to back out if you find something you don't like, whether it, yes, there's a bunch of disclosures, but that's not going to tell you if there's mold in the attic or if there's, the well went out or whatever. Um, so you have time to do your due diligence, and that's what we're here for, to help you out. But the contract, and I've said this a lot, the contract in Montana very much protects the buyer. Um, the seller, on the other hand, once you sign and agree to it, you're kind of stuck. You can't
Yeah.
you can't get out of it unless the buyer either backs out or the buyer misses a date or something like that. But yeah, the contracts here are uh, very good for buyers, and yeah, there's all kinds of ways for buyers to get out of the deal, and really no way for the sellers to. So I hope that makes you feel a little bit better. But um, as far as a video specifically about that, like I said, all my videos, I try and kind of talk about things you should look out for and what to worry about and what not to worry about.
What is the job market like in an administrative hospital/office setting?
I know there's a lot of jobs at the hospital in Kalispell.
Mm-hmm.
We get calls all the time from people that are transferring here or moving here. And um, so I would say it's pretty good. Again, you'd have to Google that and see. I don't know what exactly your credentials are or your background is, but um, if you've been doing that for a while, I wouldn't think it would be too tough to get a job because it seems like they're always looking for people down there. And
I would agree.
we have two hospitals in the valley. There's a big one in Kalispell, it's the regional one, and then there's one in Whitefish. So I think there's a lot of jobs. I think you skipped one up here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I know some Amish folks that visited friends up there or up on the other side of Lake Kootenai. They absolutely loved it, went hiking and fishing and all that. Yeah, we should go, Will.
Just what you want to do is spend another day in the car with
Sure.
me.
Uh,
One of the things, so there was a big fire up there a couple years ago, and I happened to be, it was about this time of year because we were golfing at that course, Indian Springs in Eureka, and that
mhm.
looks right up out into that area. And we actually saw that fire blow up that day when we were golfing up there. It was kind of wild to watch. Um, so
Yikes. Have you seen any food shortages in the stores?
yes,
Really?
oh, all the time. I mean, they can't because of all the tourists here.
I would say it's only during very specific times, though. I was going to say during the Under the Big Sky Festival, 100% you would walk in the store literally, and there would be like one bag of like lettuce chips, like some random thing that I'd never even heard of or seen before. And that would be like the one thing on all the shelves. It was like weird. We had no food. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, I guess. But I would say it's usually just during specific times when we're feeling the busyness everywhere else. And then that does reflect in the stores. But
well, I was there last week and I forget what they were out of. Well, like the water we get, the carbonated water, they were all out of that, so I had to go back and get that. And then there was something else that
I actually haven't yet noticed that they've been out of Coke Zero a few times.
so yeah, all the junk food.
Yeah.
Well, because all the tourists come in and buy it for camping or their VRBO or whatever. Um, and then while we were talking about this in the meeting this morning, one of the agents she was helping out some needy people in the valley, and they can't get peanut butter. They're out, and even at Costco right now, like the Costco peanut butter is all gone. I went there last week and it was gone, and Angie went there today and it was gone. And all they
Really?
have is Skippy, which she won't eat.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that brought up a good point, and we're going to talk about this more. But there's a lot of people that could use help in this valley, and there's a lot of tourism that or tourists that could certainly spare $10 to give to the food bank or donate. And we were talking about as an office doing something because and I can talk to you about this later, Hillary, but there was an agent in our office that just put something on Facebook and got all kinds of comments like, yes, I need she was just cleaning out her shelves, and so she helped out this family, and it was kind of a good story. So we decided that I think our office is going to do something. So if
Cool.
any of you guys are looking for a place to donate, check out our local food banks. They could definitely use it this time of year, because what we were talking about is, around Christmas, everybody's in the mood and they'll give, and the food bank fills up with all kinds of food. And Everyone's trying to help, but then this time of year, it's summer and you're out hiking and nobody thinks about it, but there's still
Yeah.
families that need it. So yeah, I will get off that rant, but yes, there to answer that question, there are food shortages in our stores.
I have friends that moved to Troy earlier this year. I know they've had challenges getting folks to do work, and they finally got someone to drill a well for them. Is this a challenge in Montana in general?
I
Yes.
think it is, yeah, definitely, and I think it's everywhere nowadays. It sounds like not just in Montana. Um, it's just that we don't have a ton of people here, and there's so many people moved in that um, there's not enough people to do work. So that is a
Yeah,
problem.
it is. I've experienced it firsthand. Has the tourism always been bananas, or just recently, the past few years? I Will's been here longer than I have. I've always noticed. I mean, summers have always been busy, I would say. I'm sure it's gotten crazier the last few years, but what do you say,
Yeah,
Will?
the last ever since Rona, we've been
Yeah.
inundated. It's gotten way worse in the last couple of years. Um, you can definitely see it, the change. This year it seems a little bit better, and maybe that's because of the gas prices and economy. And
It definitely did. I was just gonna say, like thinking about the 4th of July, I mean, it's been crazy here every year I've been here. This year didn't seem like as bad. So I don't know. I mean, yes, we definitely have tourist seasons where we get a lot of people, and then it got a lot busier during Rona, and then I guess we'll just see what happens.
what is your favorite spot if you're looking to buy in the Bitterroot Valley? Well, my favorite spot is down near Darby. The only downfall with that is that you're quite a ways from, the bigger stores if you need something. Not that they don't have stores down there, but if you're looking for, that's way at the south end of the Bitterroot Valley. But it's beautiful down there. That's where they film Yellowstone. So that's where I would want to be.
Um, does Amazon have a fulfillment center in your area or Missoula? I don't know about Missoula, but not here.
They don't have one in Missoula, I don't think. I think we would have heard about that.
Good point.
I
Very
don't think
good.
they have anyone anywhere. I don't think they have one anywhere in Montana. Maybe Billings, but I don't. I don't even know that. Um,
How long or bad is the snow season in Thompson Falls?
that is actually in the little banana belt over there on the west side, along the river. They don't get nearly as much snow, and it's a lot warmer because it's a lot lower over there. They don't get nearly as much snow as we do over here. And so, how long is it? December to March. How about that?
There you go. With the inflation rate that seems to be lowering, so they say, and with the increased costs of purchasing real estate, what's your belief that it is becoming a buyer's market instead of a seller's?
I think, and I said this last time, we're kind of in the standoff period where the sellers are still thinking their house is worth what it was last year, and the buyers are saying, no, it isn't. Um, we are moving towards the buyer's market a little bit, but, you know, because we've kind of been discovered now, um, I don't think it's never going to go back to what it was before Rona. And the prices may come down a little bit, but I don't think it's going to, they're going to plummet. I always get, there's so many people on the internet that it's like clickbait. They'll do these videos about, oh my God, the crash is coming and all this stuff. And people buy into that. And who knows, maybe, but I really doubt that we're going to see anything like we did in 2008. Obviously I don't have a crystal ball, but people love to click on or buy into the sky is falling stuff. the inventory is still so low here. Did the interest rate slow things down? For sure, but there's still a demand. It's not like the people that live in the big city have decided, yeah, I don't want to live in Montana anymore. There's still a demand up here. So I think anything that resembles a crash is going to happen in cities that aren't desirable or aren't, in demand, like, say Omaha or somewhere like that.
You're gonna say that. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely still a seller's market, I would say. It's just not as crazy. Yeah, I obviously agree with everything you just said. I think we're just seeing it start to level out a little bit, but I don't think there's going to be some major switch anytime soon.
Well, it looks like we have hit the bottom of the questions, and it looks like we've hit the top of the hour. So with that, we will sign off. And
Thanks for coming a day late and waiting for us so that I didn't have to do this alone, guys. I know that you appreciate Will and you want him here. We need him.
So let's check the calendar, but we should be back in 2 weeks. That will put us the 28th. Are you going to be around the 28th?
I sure am.
All right. Well, we will be back in 2 weeks, and we'll be back on a regular day of Sunday. And we never put this up, so let's put it up real quick. There's not a lot of time, but if you're still here and that's the wrong one.
Oh, wait, let's put this up.
Oh.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna frame that.
Hillary's got a fan. So if you guys need anything, or if you need a link to our MLS, email us and check out our new website that Hillary made for us. It's all good. And with that, we will see you in 2 weeks, and we hope everybody shows up then. Thank you for coming tonight. See you later.
Thank you. See ya.